Hello, group. Welcome to Action Rock Corner. I'm your host, Richard May. Today, F. Woof, Boone. Okay, F-U-C-K, Woof. YouTube is very particular about the 7 words you can't say on TV, as George Carlin put it. Great band, great record, art rock. That's what it is. It's art rock. Very spaced music. You hear all 3 instruments. Sometimes you get some electric piano. The vocals, and it's on, one channel. This ear, if you're listening on headphones, get guitar here, drums, bass, vocals. Good headphones record. I compare it to early Talking Heads before they hired all the session people. The drums, I mean the horns and the keyboard player from P-Funk. And the background singers. And when Talking Heads was still, how many's in that band? 3 or 4 people. Whoever's in Talking Heads. So, it's art rock, psych, alternative rock, yeah, indie rock, yeah, post-punk, I guess so, and rock and roll. Well, the lowercase rock and roll with the N in between. That's what this is. Don't really get sung vocals, it's more kind of spoken, and it's really good. Not really what we do here in Action Rock Corner, but when you name your band F-U-C-K, Woof, you get my attention. And then I made a mistake. Unfortunately, Dandywarhol, if you're watching, thank you. Because the drummer on this fine record shares a name with a more famous drummer, Simon Phillips. And I'm re-recording this. This is the re-recording. And last night when I first made a pass of recording this, I did my research because I know it's kind of weird that a guy that drummed with Judas Priest and Gary Moore and Pete Townsend and Toto, replaced the late, great Jeff Porcaro on drums. Iconic English hard rock, fusion jazz in the last 30 years. It's a little bit of a switch to go into post-punk. Yeah, Simon Phillips is about 3 years older than me. So, it's kind of strange. There you go, post-punk. And be a member of the band, not a session guy, which is what his livelihood's been. And Dandy caught me. Dandy corrected me. Dandy said, no, really, it's not the same Simon Phillips. All right, I'll check again. I checked. As far as Google's concerned, it's the same guy. Google's certain there's only one drummer in the world, professionally, working as Simon Phillips. Simon Phillips. Resume longer than your arm. And be a partial resume at that. But no, Dandywarhol is right. It is a different Simon Phillips. Because I had to go the extra mile. I actually enjoyed watching live from my drum house, or drum room, excuse me. Live from my drum room, episode 246 from last October, with guest Simon Phillips, English accent intact. And I watched that for a good while. Not the whole thing, is 2 hours long. I don't have 2 hours for much anymore. I had to work to get to the beginning. Does he plug FUCK Roof as part of his, hey, I'm here, plug my crap. He plugs Protocol, his new Protocol Fusion Jazz record, not FUCK Roof. So, okay, it could be a session gig. So I looked at him. It's a Zoom call interview. So I was looking at Simon for a good long time. So okay, Simon looks like that. I go to the band picture for FUCK Roof. Different guy. My bad. I worked at it. So thank you, Dandywarhol. You saved my bacon. And just a note to the community, the group. Hey, group, if you catch me make a mistake, as long as you're respectful, don't open with, are you crazy? Just respectfully go, you're mistaken. Can you fix that? And I'd be happy to. Okay? I spent time as a press critic, for Pete's sake, when that was a thing in the 20th century. So, I appreciate when journalists, and yes, I'm a journalist at times, and when I do this, I'm kind of a journalist. I don't mind being corrected. Please do. Just do it respectfully. Okay? Don't be snarky. There's a difference between trolling and being a friend. Be a friend. Just correct me and go, you don't understand. So if I do something like I did for this episode, thinking the guy who did the iconic record of Sin After Sin with Judas Priest also played the drums here almost 50 years later. Not the same Simon Phillips. I understand people have common names, like Richard May. Just a quick, last time I went to buy my shoes, hey, we don't have you in the system. You want to be in the system? Heck yeah, put me in the system. It's a small chain shoe store. And they go, oh, Richard May, do you live on this street? No. You live here? No. No. I guess they have like 4 or 5 customers named Richard May, as well as me. I know there is like 5 or 6 Richard Mays in Cleveland, Ohio, or the vicinity, at any given time. Somehow we didn't form a club. Maybe we should. So I understand there can be more than one Simon Phillips in the world drumming, let alone doing various things for a livelihood. You had to be careful. But Google was darn certain it was the same Simon Phillips here than the guy who drummed for Pete Townsend and solo tours and albums and The Who and Judas Priest and Gary Moore and John Lord. He's good. But both Simon Phillips are good. I liked this Simon Phillips here, unknown if he's related to the English Simon Phillips. But, oh well. Thank you again to Dandywarhol. You did good. Thank you. Please feel free to do that again. And if it's just me going, if you just want to disagree about what I think something sounds like, go ahead, but be gentle. What can we do? So I do everything. Oh, key point about F-U-C-K Wolf. The album, Boone, is not on YouTube. But the 3 songs I kept from the 10 songs on Boone is on YouTube. Plan Ahead, song, the numeral 2, the letter B, song 2B, and White Strokes. Those 3 songs are on YouTube individually. So I was able to like them, and they would be available to me when I listen to my YouTube music likes on shuffle, whenever they may come up. And they're great songs. All killer, no filler. No ballads. I think it's sentimental on a song or two. But nah, it doesn't go ballad city. It rocks as much as art rock. And there are some good riffs on here. You know, song 2B, great riff on that. And White Strokes, why I'm wearing my Black Sabbath shirt. It covers Electric Funeral from Black Sabbath. But then it switches to another song. I'm not sure if it's a cover. I imagine it's another cover song, but I don't know what it is. And they don't admit. I could not find songwriting credits. So I could ascertain what the second part of White Strokes is from. But yes, it's Electric Funeral. There's if they're not admitting that they're playing Electric Funeral with the lyrics, we're talking Ozzy's widow, Sharon. Sharon don't play, as we well know. But now to get into the gossip of rock and roll. So, and there's nothing to be offended by that I heard on, other than the band name, F-U-C-K Wolf. That's the only thing I find to be offended by. The lyrics and it's all good. Just they have a naughty band name. That's the only thing really offensive about the band is the band name. Go figure. You like this video? Give it a like. Subscribe to Action Rock Corner. Ring the notification bell. And leave a comment. This art rock, they don't admit to art rock. They admit to a whole bunch of other things, but not art rock. It is. I'm darn certain of that. So on Bandcamp, listen to the album. Come back. You get, if you really don't like Bandcamp and their pitch count of listening to go on YouTube and listen to the 3 tracks that I like. Plan Ahead, song numeral 2, letter B as in boy, song 2B, nice riff, and Right Strokes. Is it a song by the Strokes? The second half? I don't know. White Stripes, Right Stripes. I have no idea. Don't recognize the song. They don't hold my hand in identifying. I don't get song credits for who wrote the song, Right Strokes. Sorry. It relays in action rock, garage rock, punk, psychobilly, rockabilly, stoner, space rock, or anything else that rocks. Come back here to Action Rock Corner. We'll have it for you. Thank you for watching. And thank you once again for watching. Take care.